What up, YouTube? This is Steven Talbert. This is Talby Reacts. Today, big news came from Kotaku, which basically confirmed what a lot of people have been thinking, that Microsoft is actually coming out with new hardware. They're going to announce it at E3. And so basically what we found out today is Microsoft's going to announce two big things. So they're going to announce pretty much an Xbox One slim version, so a very slimfied version of the Xbox One, which is great because the Xbox One is gigantic. And it has its own power. Comes with, it still has a power cell connected to it. If they could just figure out a way to kind of put the battery into the console and kind of really slim it down, I think that'd be awesome. It'd be a very good step for an Xbox One. And then two, another thing that they kind of reported was that they're also considering making a project called Xbox Scorpio, which is basically a better Xbox One. It's basically kind of like PlayStation 4.5, we're going to have an Xbox One 4.5 as well. And this is basically going to have better GPU, and it's going to allow it to run more stuff. And so basically we have two things. We've been listening for pretty much months, actually, if I remember right, like even before PlayStation 4.5/Neo was even talked about. There was rumors that Xbox One could be upgraded, and I think it would be interesting to hear the story between these two systems, like who wanted to go first, kind of type thing. Like, was it Xbox One? Was it Microsoft who wanted to produce an Xbox 1.5, or was it PlayStation who wanted to first produce a PlayStation 4.5? So it'd definitely be interesting to hear kind of the story of that. I think, kind of thinking about in hindsight, I think what kind of Sony did maybe seem better in a sense. The reason I think it is probably better is if you think about kind of the announcements that Microsoft is going to have with this slim version and also with this better version with GPU. It's interesting. I think a lot of people would have thought they would have gone with this slim version, and that'd be about what they would have done. Because it makes sense. Like, a slim version really makes sense about this time. This is about the time you see it. If it's about 3 or 4 years in the life cycle, we're going to get technology goes cheaper. You're going to get, make a slim version of your system. And that makes sense. It makes it easy for Microsoft. They sell the slim version at the same price as Xbox One right now. They reduce the cost of Xbox One, allowing sales to go pretty high. I think it won't be surprising if Xbox One is going to have a pretty massive sales for this coming holiday thing. But what is kind of surprising is the fact that they're going to then the next year release, the following year, they're going to release this Xbox One Scorpio that has better GPU. And I think that's what's going to be really interesting, is they're going to release a better system a year later. So a year later, after everybody who's bought the slim, it's kind of interesting. I think this comes every once in a while where people who think they're buying the better system end up not really buying the better system because the better system comes out the year after that. It's really interesting, the kind of the cat and dog in a lot of this. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the consumers kind of react to these two versions of these two SKUs of this Xbox. I think it's a good idea for them to do it. I think they definitely need an Xbox Slim to kind of produce, kind of help with sales, and I think it definitely helps in the long run. I think so. The cool things that come kind of from the Xbox Scorpio, or as we call it, there's a couple interesting factoids that come out of this announcement as well. I think one of the most interesting ones is kind of VR, kind of with the better GPU. They say, I think some of the experts kind of believe that Oculus Rift can now run on the Xbox One. I think, and a lot of people believe that's the reason they're kind of developing this Xbox Scorpio, is to be able to run VR in a sense. Because right now, if you look at Microsoft as a whole, they just have HoloLens, which is this AR device, but they don't have a VR device per se. And if VR is going to be this big boom, like a lot of people think it is, it's going to be very disadvantageous for Microsoft not to have that. And so it's kind of, what do they do? And I think one of the most easiest things for them to do is go into Oculus Rift. I think that's the reason you see an Xbox One controller getting sold with an Oculus Rift headset, is I think Microsoft really is interested in doing like a partnership with them, and I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense for both Oculus and both for Microsoft, because for Oculus it gives them a base already. I think instead of people having to buy a computer for Oculus, now people just all I have to do is buy whatever this Xbox Scorpio is going to be, or this Xbox 1.5 is going to be. I think it makes sense for them, for Oculus users to buy into that. Although it kind of makes Oculus kind of anchored onto this system, and it's going to be interesting to see what these games that are made for Oculus are for. Like, are they will they only have to focus on, most people are going to build off for Oculus, are they going to focus on Xbox, or are they going to focus for PCs? And it'll be interesting to see if there's like high-end version of Oculus, or there's going to be low-end, or kind of what in between. Another thing to kind of take note is also, I think one of the most under-noted type things recently is the fact that Microsoft is also in the Microsoft. If you go into the Microsoft stores in both New York and also in Seattle, you can both see Vive demonstrations taking place. So Vive is the other VR, the other VR competitor in the PC marketplace, and it's interesting. I think what's real another understated type thing is the fact, like, we don't know what Microsoft is really thinking about in terms of VR. How do they want to align it? Do they want to align it with Oculus, or do they want to align it with Vive? And it is super weird. I just would love to know what they actually think about VR, because I really don't think they know. Like, I have no idea. Just looking at what they're doing, it's real fascinating to think about. So that's one interesting thing. I think one of the most other interesting facts is right now I think Microsoft wants to focus on both the Windows 10 and the Xbox, kind of going into one area. One of the things they kind of announced, kind of with this announcement of the systems, is the fact that they're considering putting Halo on the PC as well, which is real interesting to think about. Which means, I think, kind of what the head of Xbox kind of has commented is that they're no longer moving forward to like an Xbox only kind of atmosphere. They want to have both Xbox and PC oriented, and I think this takes away kind of what we've always talked about when we look at consoles. We have exclusives. In terms of we have PlayStation exclusives like Bloodborne, most recently in the Uncharted series. In Xbox has always been Gears of War and Halo. And I think if Microsoft is going to consider now we're going to put it on PC, I think it really takes away from the exclusivity, and that's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Will more people not buy Xbox now? Does Microsoft want to get out of Xbox altogether, or are we going to see people, as we want to say, are we going to see people who just buy PC, or will have a nice high-powered PC that can run Oculus and run a lot of things with Steam? And then also have the ability to do, have also PlayStation 4 to kind of run, if you want to play those PlayStation games. It's going to be real interesting. What's been really interesting in terms of that argument as well is the fact that a lot of the games, like the Xbox games, if you look at, for instance, the latest Microsoft exclusive, you would see that you can only get it, like redeem it at the Microsoft Store. You cannot redeem it at Steam. And so it's going to be interesting in terms of the cohesion of that and how that works. And so there's some real interesting questions that needs to be answered or are going to be answered in the next couple of months. So those are my thoughts. I kind of wanted to let you guys know about these two game systems and kind of talk about these really interesting aspects. Guys, what are your thoughts? Tell me. Always like to talk about Xbox. I work there. One of the things I don't say as much. And please kind of comment down below, like my video, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you have a great day. Have a great week. I want to have a great time. I'm going to go to Kind of Funny Live too. I hope to see people if you're Kind of Funny Live fans there. All right, bye. See you.